Are you a current or future physician assistant wanting to learn more about finances? Then join me on this journey to become a PA the FI way. Hi, my name is Kat, and I'm a practicing certified physician assistant who will be your host. It took me 5 years after I started practicing medicine as a PA to thoroughly dive into my personal finances after I discovered the concept of financial independence. I want to use what I have learned to help you avoid some of the financial mistakes that I have made while sharing some of the financial wins that I have had along the way. Join me as we discuss financial strategies to guide you to becoming a physician assistant on the way to financial independence. Welcome back, everyone, to the PA the FI Way podcast. I'm your host, Kat, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to the show. There was a mini break between episodes, as a couple of weeks ago, I was spending time with my family on another adventure. If you've been listening to the show for a while now, you may remember episode 78, which was about lifestyle design and lessons learned from our RV family adventure. And I shared some stories about our crazy family trip where we rented an RV locally in Minnesota with my mom, my husband, my sister's family, including her 2 kids, and their dog, and piled 7 humans and 1 dog into a 31-foot Class C RV and drove it to Colorado, saw 3 of the 4 national parks there, and visited several cute mountain towns along the way. My guess is many of you thought we were a little crazy for that trip, and honestly, parts of it were a bit crazy. After that trip, we decided we wanted to do another trip that was somewhat similar, but with making a reservation, we couldn't do the trip until this year. And what this trip was is exploring Minnesota's only national park, which is called Voyageurs National Park, way up north along the Canadian border and the Minnesotan border, and exploring that national park by renting a houseboat and living on the houseboat for a week. So we had much more space. Instead of a 31-foot camper, this was a 61-foot houseboat, almost double the size. And it even had an upper deck that you could hang out on, use a hot tub up there, had a water slide. And my husband and brother-in-law were the ones that drove this thing around on a few of the lakes up there. And every night you would park, quote unquote, the houseboat on a houseboat campsite that was open. So you would drive around, look for one that's open, and decide if you wanted to spend the night there. Then you can get off the houseboat by using this wooden plank, walking down it, and then you were at a campsite, essentially, could have a bonfire, walk around, see some beautiful sunsets. And then you also can take a fishing boat with you, drag it along behind the houseboat, and we did a lot of fishing on the trip too. Sadly, the fishing was not great, but it was incredibly relaxing and peaceful up there, especially at night with all the beautiful stars and the incredibly scenic nature around too. Both of these trips were made possible by my very generous mom, who is retired and has chosen to spend part of her income from her pension year to year by trying to make family memories and activities that we enjoy doing together. I have not yet read the book Die with Zero, but I have that on the list of books that I would like to read. But it reminds me about the concept of that book overall, where there's no point in hoarding and saving all of your money once you reach financial independence and continuing to be completely frugal throughout your whole life, but instead finding ways that you can spend your money and enjoy the fruit of your hard work over the years for both yourselves as well as your loved ones. I definitely hope to be able to do that for my loved ones in the future as well. For today's episode, I wanted to talk about the concept of asking yourself $30,000 questions and focusing on those over only asking yourself $3 questions. When you first start to be mindful of your finances and are trying to be more frugal, trying to budget, track your money, it's so common to fall into the trap of only focusing on $3 questions. And what does that mean? $3 questions are very small day-to-day financial decisions that really truly have only a limited impact on your overall financial future. Even though they do cost some money, eventually when they add up over time, they barely make a dent in your overall financial picture, your long-term financial success, and your journey towards reaching financial independence for the future. On the other side, side of things, $30,000 questions are bigger, more strategic questions and decisions that you can make that actually have a significant impact on your finances for the future. $30,000 questions influence your net worth, your retirement, the point at which you can reach financial independence, your overall lifestyle. They are incredibly more important to be focusing on than simply $3 questions. Obviously, $3 and $30,000 are just arbitrary numbers. You can use any dollar figure you want for smaller dollar questions versus larger dollar questions. This concept was popularized by Ramit Sethi, who wrote the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And if you like this concept, more of his ideas are talked about in episode 117. What are some examples of $3 questions? Again, these are often the insignificant decisions, but many people can get bogged down by them, hyper-focused on them, and almost obsessive and compulsive. But overall, that is not necessary because they really won't move the needle. So the $3 questions are, should I buy a latte today? I don't know about you, but I wish lattes were $3 still. The point though is, again, focus on spending your money on those things that you truly value and enjoy it in life. If buying a latte every day adds more joy to your life and you enjoy them more than making lattes at home, then maybe you keep that in your budget every day. Another $3 question is, should I wait to buy this item during an upcoming sale? Or should I clip coupons and try to save a few dollars during the shopping trip? I vividly remember clipping coupons during undergrad, PA school, as well as the first couple years of our marriage, and taking these coupons to the stores or scanning coupons on apps. And again, if a way to save money is easy and convenient for you, that's one thing. But combing through piles of coupons and clipping them took so much time and energy. And honestly, the amount of money I saved hardly likely moved the needle. Granted, my income was a whole lot less back then than what it is as a practicing PA. But if you are a practicing PA and still clipping coupons or feeling like you can't buy an item unless it's on sale, ask yourself, is this really going to move the needle? Do you really need that item right now? And if so, go ahead and get it, even if it's not on sale. Remember that time is more valuable than money. So if you're only saving a few dollars, but spending several minutes or hours of your time, go ahead and spend the extra few dollars. Other examples of $3 questions are, should I save $10 by skipping an appetizer, skipping dessert at a restaurant? Again, ask yourself, if you don't frequent restaurants too often, will that appetizer or dessert add value to that experience? If so, go ahead and do it. Another example, should I cancel my gym membership to save some money every month? Instead, be asking yourself how much value this membership is adding to your life. And if you're using it and you are getting the benefits from it, both exercise as well as social benefits, it very likely should stay in your budget. Another example of a $3 question is, which high yield savings account has the absolute best interest right now? Instead, focus on one that has a good interest rate for your savings to stay in that account for, and also the features that you like. But pick one and move on with it. Don't spend a lot of time dwelling on that question. Now that we talked about what some examples of $3 questions are, let's talk about some examples of what $30,000 questions are in personal finance. The first one is, should I contribute enough to my 401k to get the full match? And the answer is a resounding yes, because although on the surface it seems like a very minimal amount of money that you actually get year to year, that decision adds up over time because it's free money and it compounds upon itself. So that really is a $30,000 question. The next one is, how much should you be investing in your retirement accounts? That is absolutely a $30,000 question. Can you max out your accounts? Do you have excess funds to invest above and beyond a Roth IRA, 401k, HSA? Another example of a $30,000 question is, should you buy a home or should you continue to rent? And beyond that, in regards to housing, it's one of the top 3 most expensive budget items for Americans. If you do decide to buy a home, how much should you spend? You don't want to become house poor and having the majority of your income going towards your mortgage month to month. Another example of a $30,000 question is, what can you do to increase your income? Meaning, if you're not satisfied in your current role, can you find a higher paying role out there? Or in your current role, can you negotiate a higher raise? Another example of a $30,000 question is, how can you quickly pay off your debt, especially when it comes to high interest debt like credit card debt or other consumer debt. Many of your student loans have higher interest rates as well. Here are more examples of $30,000 questions. How can you develop a new skill that will increase your earning potential over your life and help you build wealth? Sometimes that skill is within medicine, sometimes it's outside of medicine. If you decide to become entrepreneurial and start a business, you can ask yourself who can help you with what your goals are. Whether it truly is a partnership, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a coach for accountability, asking yourself who you can learn from can be a $30,000 question. And another great example of a $30,000 question is, how can you prioritize your time to focus on your goals? How can you manage your time? One of the biggest complaints that our members within our wealth building community for PA struggle with is managing their time. Remember, your time is the one thing that you cannot get back. So it's essential that you do everything you can to protect your time in all areas of life. And that includes both your current present time as well as your future time. So I wanted to ask you, are you asking yourself $3 questions day to day? Or are you asking yourself $30,000 questions day to day? Which of these types of questions is consuming the majority of your focus and the majority of your time that you're spending on the answers? Make sure it's those $30,000 questions. If you would like to learn more about how we help our members in our community, check out the link listed in the show notes about the PA Millionaire Roadmap. You'll see my friend Sam share this information, and you can learn about the steps that it takes to ultimately become a PA millionaire. If this episode and podcast was helpful for you, I would so much appreciate if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to this on, as well as share it with a friend, a colleague, your spouse, anyone that you feel as though would benefit from this information. Thanks so much for taking a listen, and I'll see you back here soon. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you decide to continue to join me along this journey of becoming a PA the FI way. Please take a moment to press the subscribe button on the platform that you are listening to this on, but more importantly, consider sharing with another current or future PA that could benefit from the information that we reviewed in this episode. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Until next time.